The world has misunderstood China. I would like you to put yourself into their leaders' shoes for a moment. Imagine yourself managing over 1 billion people. A monumental task. China has only 103 million hectares of arable land, which is the total amount of land available to grow crops. And they have to feed 1 billion. If you compare this to America, their land area is 174 million hectares for 300 million people. So, China has half the amount of land compared to America, and also has 4 times the number of people to feed. Being the leader of China, you got a pretty big problem already to begin with. Now say you are the leader, and you see that your people are really poor, and that there are a lot of poor people. What would you do to get your people out of poverty? These are your family, your kind. What would you do? The Chinese leaders, back in the late 70s, saw how the British made Hong Kong prosperous. They wanted to do the same for China. They wanted their people to improve their own lives themselves by working hard. The leaders saw a successful method, free ports, and copied the Hong Kong business model. They created free markets in China. This is the reason for the birth of China's special economic zones. These are the major cities today. Shenzhen, where I live, was the first special economic zone created. They welcomed the world to come in, opening their doors. All they wanted was for their citizens to come out of poverty by their very own hard work. What they did not expect was that the Hong Kong people would cross the border and exploit them, degrade them. China was a country that had been closed to the world for decades. The Cultural Revolution. Being a group of people who had pretty much no idea of how the rest of the world works. Here they are, open their door to us. They invite us in. Now when I was living in America, I watched TV often. One of the shows that I really liked was Star Trek Enterprise. One important thing I recall was that the Space Trekkers had a very important policy, a directive, that was not to intervene or interfere in another country's natural evolution. During my stay in America, I was happy to learn that my American friends had similar beliefs. So the way I see it today is that China was this other planet, the foreign world. They were people we did not know much about then, and they had no idea about the rest of us. They opened their doors to us. We went in. And what did we do? We took advantage of their exchange rate. We took advantage of their low prices, their low wages. We took advantage of those who did not know any better. Now let's look at American companies. Why did they come to China? They saw low cost and decided to take advantage of them, get a competitive edge, make more money. These are American business people, Americans. Today, the American economy is not as vibrant as it used to be. Today, there are many Americans who are not as stable as they used to be. You have a lot of poor people in America, people who are just getting by or not at all. I have seen on TV how so many Americans cannot even afford to go to a dentist. They wait for a charity organization to come to their state that would perform free dentistry. You will be hurting those poor American families as well. These American families who purchase China-made products will not be able to afford their daily necessities as they did before. Do you really think that so many families in America can really afford made-in-America products? You will be putting additional hardship and unnecessary strain on them. Do you really think the same volume of sales, the same demand will exist once that tax is in place? Rather, you will see a drop in overall sales. The American economy will falter further, as you will see less tax revenue for your government from those made in China American companies. If you contend that American jobs will be created, please tell me from where. Where are these people who can afford made in America prices? Where in the world? Perhaps those people who lost their jobs earlier, have no money now, will get a job in an American company making American products. So then, only after time, they will be able to afford and then purchase American goods. Who will purchase those products they make in the meantime? No one. There will be additional supply, but not enough demand. There will be no additional sales for the American business owner. Many would probably end up letting go of those new workers, or the American company fails, goes into bankruptcy. Either way, unemployment increases, economy goes down. What is the Chinese government if not a business? We should really see them as business people, one big company. They already own most of the large companies, state-owned enterprises. They manage the Chinese people, their employees. They provide healthcare at an affordable level, even though almost everyone is still very poor. They ensure food availability. They ensure safety. They ensure stability. The major things we all expect from our own governments. Now say you are in their shoes and you come up with a brilliant plan to get your people out of poverty. This is the year 1978. You see a way to save your own people, get them to a respectable level. After seeing promising results for the first 11 years, especially the last couple, the Chinese had the results, the proof, to show their plan to get their people out of poverty was working, and working well. They were on their way to get 1 billion out of poverty. Now students, not happy that they are still poor, learning the ways of the outside world via unorthodox means, learn of democracy, learn of freedom. Naturally, any one of us would find that appealing. They are not happy with the poverty levels. They want a better life. They protest. They go against their government, who knows that their plan is working, and working brilliantly. The students protest, and the world takes notice. They now became a political threat. The students became an economic threat. Many died. A sad day for China. A sad day for the world. All they wanted was a better life. Their leaders were working on exactly that. Unfortunately, the people did not know or did not believe their government. The people could not see that their country was advancing because it was just in the early stages, no real signs. The sad reality is if they waited 10 years, they would have seen it. Now I ask you, if you were their leader, what would you have done if less than 0.1% of your population is going against you, and you know your solution is working? You know you are doing good. Then you see the real possibility that all the good you have done, all the stability, the harmony, the successful plan could all crumble under international pressure, all in a matter of days. What would you do? What would you do for the remaining 99.9%?